Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to We Don't Even Know. This is episode 90. We are here and ready to share with you. We want to make a quick announcement. I don't think this will be full screen, but it'll be fairly good. Let's see. So we've had some issues with racism here in our hometown in New York these past weeks, and we need to stop. Hello, everybody. We need to stop Asian hate, and one way to do that is to, if you can, go to this website, as you can see, stopaapihate.org, and there's a lot of different things that you can go through, and it will help you take actions and even just to learn more. So please check out that website if you're able to, and this is just a way to kick off the show. But now it's time to get make sure you have your drinks in place first. Okay, I still got a little bit here. And what we want to do is start banging pots and pans, putting your hands together. Let's bring in our hosts, Christian Felix and Shonali Bhowmik.
Woohoo! Wow,
Hi.
Justin the Intern. Thank you so much,
you,
my man. Multitasking.
Thank you for starting out the show and sharing that information. It's so important right now.
Absolutely.
And like you said, I think that people may be shocked that this is happening a lot in New York City, but I think it's the reality check that everybody needs to understand, that this hate is infiltrated everywhere. And we also have to educate ourselves on how to interact to actually help people instead of just being on the sidelines. So thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, Shonali, you know we got to do something.
Yeah, you ready? Let's all do it together. Let's all three. Ready? I don't have my cards.
I think my cards got locked into my move.
You both sleeping. Wow. And
do you guys notice Justin's moved in the time that we've had ours? But Christian's not slacking.
Shonali, what's your excuse? Where are your cards at?
You know what? It said I got a vaccine. We'll talk about that.
I knew you were going to go there. It's that second dose, ain't it? All right.
Oh, that's good. He made up for me.
Cards for you. Okay, you guys ready to do this?
Yep. Let's do it. A one, a two, a one, two,
three.
We don't even know. We don't even know. With Christian, Felix, Shonali, Bhowmik, and Justin the Intern. We don't even know.
We don't even know. We don't even know. Hallelujah. With Christian, Felix,
Shonali, Bhowmik, and Justin the Intern. We don't even know. Woo!
Hey, you guys, I'm out.
Thank you, Justin.
All right, boys to men.
Oh my gosh, doesn't Justin look amazing? He's got his new place. He's going to be a new father. It's just all exciting. He's got the facial hair to go with that fatherly look. You know.
I know. I only thought that women got that glow with the new baby coming.
I thought you were going to say, I only thought women developed whiskers when they got pregnant.
Well, wow. It's interesting where your mind goes. That's not what I was going to say, Shonali. But I was just going to say that Justin glows a little bit too. So that's very sweet. You know, Shonali, you're glowing too. It must be that COVID vax.
You know what? That's what I was going to say. We got lots going on in this world. One of the good things is the access to vaccines. They keep getting more available to the world. I got my second one on Sunday. I have been celebrating. It did take me out. I was totally wiped out yesterday. I had aches and pains, my headache. I took Tylenol, but it's a small price to pay. And today I feel a lot better. A lot better.
You look a lot better. You must look how you feel, Shonali, because you look like $1 million.
I try to look $1 million for you, Christian. Always.
But you're right. It's great. We just got news here in New York that people above the age of 30 are going to be able to get it starting next week, but you can sign up now. So that's very exciting for me. But yeah, so that's a good thing that's happening in the world.
Good thing. And obviously we are not the news, but we also do tap into all of us going through these emotions that we are experiencing in the world right now. This has been a year ago that we were in lockdown. This is officially a year ago we started doing the show on the virtual
Let me ask you a
airwaves.
question, Shonali. Given the fact that it's been 360 plus days or so,
What
does
the
it
heck?
feel like a year to you, or does it
I don't,
feel longer, or what? What does time
I,
feel like?
it doesn't, you know what? I feel like this year has been like a wash of time. We don't calculate days. We don't even know that weeks have gone by. We have to look at calendars because we really don't know what day it is.
Yeah,
It's like a haze, you
yeah.
know?
One day I'll wake up and I'll be like, man, it was just like March this time, like just like not too long ago. And the next time I wake up and I'm like, damn, it feels like this thing has been going on forever. And just the fact that we've been living in a way with masks and social distance and being in our homes as much as we have, and just the way that we're living our lives in ways that we never anticipated. The fact that we've been doing it this long is
It's
something
crazy.
that really gives me pause. And I'm just thankful that I have my health, that I have a shelter that I have, but it is,
That's right.
we've been doing this for a year.
And I just to add to that is we see this opening with the vaccines, but this is also we can't rush right
Right.
now because we're in a very precarious moment. And yesterday you saw that CDC director Rochelle Walensky almost in tears saying that we would have a fourth wave if we didn't all continue to stay diligent. Social distancing. It's like already half of the country is up double digits this week
Yep.
as opposed to last.
Yep.
So, and that just says how science is real because obviously we've all people have been acting a little crazy last week because we think because we have vaccines, all of a sudden everything's good. But no,
Right.
we've got lots of people that are not vaccinated.
That's right.
That's the part.
That's right.
Like we're at like 10%, 15%. We got
No.
85% that need
I
to be
mean, we
vaccinated.
don't even know it's only 30%. It's only Shonali, me and Justin, we don't even have it. So there you go, people. We're mirroring the statistics of society. What else is going on in the world, Shonali? Come on now.
All right, so I'm just going to say what's weighing on my heart, right now is this trial that's going on. Derek Chauvin, the police officer who had the knee on the neck of George Floyd. I saw compelling witnesses today that were young people or bystanders. That's on my mind. Just telling everybody that, like, let's check in with each other.
Yeah.
That's been in my head. Voter suppression in Georgia. Now, I don't mean to bring you guys down, but it also means to activate everyone to pay attention so we need to pay attention because this past year and the past 4 years have like created this wave of events that we all have to like witness
Yeah.
and take action and
And they
do
affect
something
us.
about.
And the one thing I want to say about the Georgia voting law is the fact that they made it illegal for people to get brought food and water while they're waiting in these ridiculously long lines. And
Yep.
I've never had to vote in Georgia, but I've seen how long
Yeah.
those lines are.
I've been in those lines.
And that, yeah, you have. And that part of the law just makes absolutely no sense, like so many other of these parts of the law. So
Many of them.
we
Shutting down voting
gotta
at
fight.
5. It's unconstitutional. Stacey Abrams, she's jumping on that. Thank you, Stacey. Nashville had flooding. That's in my mind. My mom's basement got flooded with water, 7
That's
inches.
right.
There are also people that died there. That's my hometown. That's something we're thinking about you. Are you guys? We're gonna lift you up. We're about to lift you up. Talking about a lot of things and then we just talked about the Asian hate crimes that have been occurring in New York. I just hope that this activates everyone to pay attention and to look out for each other because this videotape that came out today from an event yesterday was so atrocious. And not only just seeing this man in broad daylight in Hell's Kitchen kick this woman down on her way to work, a 65-year-old woman, then you see the security inside shut the door. And this is something that I just hope in New York, I don't want people to just become numb to helping each other. Like
Right.
that's something I don't want to be a part of. Like we
Right.
need to jump. To me, if someone falls, it's probably because they passed out because they might have had a heart attack. Like
Yeah.
you go to help, assist
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
If they fall down, you assist them.
Yeah,
So,
and I think, Shonali, that there's there's kind of there's a misnomer, not a misnomer, but there's a kind of a misinterpretation of the demographics. People think like, oh, there's so many Asian Americans living in New York City that we have Chinatowns and different areas of our boroughs and stuff that they can kind of take care of themselves. And like, we're all in this together. And, you know, one of the things that really kind of uplifted me was to support a new play that came out of the Kitchen Theater up in Ithaca that we both saw a preview of, called China Dreams, or the Conservation of Parity. That was written by Stephanie Kuo. And she's actually going to be on our podcast coming up next month. We're really excited about that. But one of the reasons why I just want to bring that up and talk about it is that the play was really cool. We'll talk about that a little bit more next month. But what really kind of gave me just some strength and some inspiration was to hear these smart, intelligent Asian American theater makers and citizens and humans just speak to their experience right now of just feeling like incredibly vulnerable, incredibly just in a place of fragility and not really knowing what to do, questioning this country and like what it means to be them in this country. And it was just, it was not great, but it was a good place to be, to hear those voices. And I just want to encourage everybody out there to, like, their Asian American theater world and artists are speaking truth to this moment, and it's some really good dialogue to be hearing.
No, you're exactly right. And I think, you know, we've had a lot of rallies together here in New York City. And one of the best visions to see here is people of all races coming together to stand up on behalf of Asian Americans who feel invisible too. And, you know, there's a lot of stereotypical ideas people have about everyone. That's why they're called stereotypes. But I think the idea that that you're supposed to be quiet in these moments,
Yeah.
like, that's changed right now. Like, it has to change. We
Yeah.
can't be quiet. We got to speak up, and we can't keep witnessing these things and not do anything.
No, and
It's just,
and it's not in the Asian community. They are speaking up. They have been speaking up about these things. And talk about speaking up. You know, words matter. And let's not forget the last 4 years of the kind of vitriol and bullshit that we've been hearing from the highest office of the land. And the fact that you've been tying this virus to Chinese people, to China, then Chinese people, then to all of Asians, and then that level of hate speech that's been just in our world, it has an impact. It activates
it does.
things. So I just think this is an unfortunate big wake up call. And I'm going to be at that next rally.
So now we're going to elevate. We're going to do this together, but what about fun things this past month, Christian? Because mental health is important for us right now. What is something that you've found joy in this past month?
Oh, me personally?
Yeah.
Oh, I get to go first? Oh my God, that must be a first on this show. Okay, well, let me go first. In a moment where I wanted to celebrate joy, you still had to knock me down. That's okay, everybody. Witnesses, all of you. Okay. No, Shonali, thank you for that invitation. I mean, those earrings, it must be the earrings. They look so good on you. Listen, the thing that I've had joy about is cooking. I've been doing a lot of cooking. And I recently made and discovered, well, a dear friend of mine, Amy, put on my radar, seafood enchiladas. And let me just tell you, for those of you who may be questioning me, like, what's seafood enchilada? What? Seafood enchilada who? Let me tell you something about seafood enchiladas, okay?
Okay.
They are so easy to make, and they are so damn good. And they will make anybody happy. First of all, sour cream, cheese, melted, baked, boom, boom. You can't go wrong with that. But for the seafood lovers out there and for the enchilada skeptics, make yourself some seafood enchiladas and thank me later.
You got me started on the enchiladas. We made chicken enchiladas. We could have been healthier. They're probably not the same, but because of you, you inspired us.
What you mean they could have been healthier? What you what?
I mean, seafood is healthier than chicken.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I thought you meant yours were healthy. No. Right, mine are
No,
healthier. Right.
see, look at this. I just gave you two.
Don't come for me, Shonali. Don't come for me in Zoom.
I ain't your mama. I am your friend. Okay? Just remember that.
Hey,
I got your back.
What's your
I got your back.
What's your one fun thing?
So my fun thing, thank you for asking, Christian. How nice of you. I got to go to the beach in North Carolina with Jasper, and then also I met my sister and her kids, and we had a full-on beach that was empty. I mean, it was empty. It was gorgeous. It was freezing. We did not go in the water. But my joy, since I don't have a pet, was running around with my niece's puppy who loves me, running, and we were running back and forth on the beach. And Christian, you would love it. You would love seeing me. I have never run like that in so long. Going, and also like left and right, like being like playing games. When do you move like that? I don't move like
I
that.
mean, I
Even
think
when
the technical term for that is frolic. It sounds like you were frolicking on the beach. Would that be appropriate to say?
That's exactly what I was doing. So I found so much joy in that, and I just want to tell everyone. Oh, and I did my nails, guys. Just so you know, I haven't done my nails. It's like a gunmetal steel.
Wow.
I actually don't like to wear things that are called guns, but
right.
Gun sparkly.
Wow.
So I didn't do my toenails, but that's coming up soon. Who cares about toenails? Nobody's going to see that. But yeah, Christian, I think that those things made a big difference in my month this past month because we got lots going on. Talking to you, keeping up with you, and then being with our guest tonight. I know that we have a guest who's I assume is watching us right now. Let's see. She is supposed to join us. She is a writer, a science journalist, and she's written for, like, the thing is, we knew Roxanne before.
Ages ago. Before we don't even know.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And
I knew her before I even knew you.
You did? No, you didn't. No.
Yes.
No, you didn't. No. How did you? Oh, yeah, she went to Dartmouth.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, wow. I saw that.
Wow.
Well, let me see here.
I just got her email too.
You did? Okay, because I know that she sent her a phone number on her cell. She was a friend of ours a long time ago.
Yep.
And I forgot that you guys went to school. I saw that and I was like, wait, so were you guys friends at school?
Yeah, we were kind of not in like besties, but we were kind of in like social circles that would every now and again overlap. And it was just really cool to reconnect with her when we were both living in New York and get to know her even better. So.
Wow. Okay. So I always thought, okay, she's amazing. She's a cool human being. I met her through our friend Dave. I did not know all the amazing work that she does.
Here we go.
Yeah. And so then when I kept up with her, because she's one to keep up with because she does so many amazing things, I remember just because she came to our live show in the house. Do you remember that?
Hey!
Here she is! And here she is, everyone. Roxanne Khamsi here live and in person in the studio.
Well, zooming in all the way from Montreal. Whoa! Didn't think this was OnlyFans. Hello.
Oh, she just has to unmute. She's almost going to do it. She's about to do it.
No worries. We're really good at this. We're professional vampires.
I'm glad you don't have like a cleavage revealing shirt on.
I was going to talk about OnlyFans with my next guest, but we can talk about it now.
Yeah, please tell me.
Okay, you want to know something, Shonali?
Mm-hmm.
You know that I love Harper's Index.
Yeah.
This is a magazine that I get every month, and they have this page that's the index, that's the stats. Now, Shonali, guess this number. Minimum number of content creators on OnlyFans.
I'm here.
Awesome. So Roxanne.
You guys got an extra show. I was not on any of that. I was watching the show. And
On delay.
You guys introducing me, and I was like, this is weird because I'm not on till 8:35. And then I looked at the email and I was like, I totally just the second time. I'm so sorry.
It's a COVID
It's
thing.
okay.
Blame it on COVID.
It's so okay. I'm glad I was like,
Roxanne, I was just sharing a stat from Harper's magazine, the Harper's Index. And this was going to be something I was going to discuss with the next guest, but in the meantime, and then we'll move on to more serious topics. Minimum number of content creators on OnlyFans, a site for sharing explicit videos and photos with paying subscribers. How many people do you think are providing content on OnlyFans? First, Shonali, what's your guess?
I have no idea.
Just throw out a number, minimum number.
Like, is it for? No, I have no idea. I have no guess.
Can you read it one more time? Just like I want to guess this right because
Okay, so minimum number of content creators.
Yes.
On OnlyFans.
Yes.
A site for sharing explicit videos and photos with paying subscribers.
Okay.
So it would be me. I would have an OnlyFans page.
So they're asking how many people have an OnlyFans page, or how many people are required before you get your own?
No, how many people say, hey, come and check out my OnlyFans page?
I'm gonna say 80,000.
Okay. Shonali, do you think it's higher?
I mean, I think it's got to be a ridiculous number.
So throw out a number. What's ridiculous to you?
500,000 people.
1 million people. That's the minimum number.
I went like the Price is Right approach to this, right? I didn't over.
Yeah. So Roxanne, yeah, totally. Anyway, I'm thinking about getting my own OnlyFans, but that's for another episode. So.
No, you don't want to do it, Christian. We know that. Sorry, guys.
Whether I should get a TikTok, I'm like,
I know it's stressful. It is stressful to think about these things. It's just stressful. Roxanne, welcome, and so good to see you. It's been so long.
Sorry for the mix-up. I'm
no
problem. Don't worry about it.
I'm embarrassed.
Don't you worry. We were just going to keep talking about you till you got here, so it worked. That's it. Yeah. And so, how is Montreal? You now live in Montreal. It's been what, less than a year, right?
A little bit over a year. I got here a month before the pandemic.
Oh, right. Wow.
Yeah.
And because you were here in New York for how long before? 12 years.
Not counting. I spent 6 months there in 2005, but does that really count? I don't know.
So was the move motivated by the pandemic, or you had this pre-planned prior to the lockdown and the shutdown and everything?
I basically, this is the genesis story. I mean, I've loved Montreal. This is
me too.
My favorite city since I was 11, and but then I happened to go to a friend's wedding in May of 2019, and this is very dear friends of mine. I know both of them, and they had it at a Japanese restaurant, and they were serving sake, but they served them in these glasses that looked like water glasses, and I drank a little bit too much of it. And I sat next to two friends that lived in Montreal, and they were telling me all about it, and I was like, "That's it, I'm moving there." And so like 6 months later, I was here.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And so do you speak French?
I do a lot more now. Yeah. I do. I had this thing. So I took it all through high school, and I actually was in French immersion back when I was in kindergarten. But I always listened to French pop music to like keep it fresh. I know really handy things like "I Want to Die in Your Arms" and like all. Now, now I know how to say antibody in French. Anticorps.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it?
Anticorps. Corps is body.
Anticorps.
Anticorps.
Literally a translation. Antibody.
Wow.
Wow. That's so.
So one of my so I love Montreal too, and I've recently rediscovered it again. Have you ever? So I have two things just to plug, and one of them is Boda Boda. Have you ever been to Boda Boda?
I mean, Christian, you're asking me if I've been to like a restaurant or event space. I like got here and then like.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Roxanne, that's a totally unfair question. You're right. So Boda Boda, actually, it's even more unfair because it's the most incredible spa I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And it's half on a boat, half on land. It's down near like the old town or down near the port. It's absolutely so. If ever it opens and reopens, we can go safely. I highly recommend that place.
I thought you were gonna say if ever you're here, you'll take me, which is a much
that too. And then the other thing that surprisingly, because I'm half Haitian, my father's from Haiti.
Wow.
And surprisingly, there are a ton of Haitian Canadian restaurants in Montreal.
So we'll go to after the spa is basically what you're saying.
Yes.
Kind of like detox in the spa and then like work up an appetite for like 3 of these restaurants.
Exactly, Mundo. So when I come, Roxanne, you know what our itinerary is going to be.
I just want to mention, you guys might not realize this, but like I'm like an hour away from getting being under curfew again. So we still have like for the last 3 months, they recently moved it from like I think it was like 8 p.m. to 9:30. But like we're still not like allowed to leave our houses after a certain hour.
I had no idea.
And the restaurant not open. You can get delivery and takeout, but like
wow,
very different here.
Well, that's what I was gonna say because you left, and then I would say that you're actually one of the few of my friends that's been doing really important work in like this past year. You know, a lot of us are not working, you know, and actually journalists.
What do you think you're doing right now?
Thank you. Thank you. But journalists are, you know, like you write at home, you can write at home. And so, you know, you have also been doing, and I brought up that the article, like Roxanne is one of the journalists that first came out with the news that coronavirus was an airborne disease, spread, you know, airborne. And that at the time was something that we were just like, whoa, you know, it's amazing now that it's something we're just in tune with and everybody's wearing masks and it's happening. But, you know, I assume you've been keeping up with like the day to day of this virus at this point. You're almost an expert. You are an expert.
No, I'm an interloper and I just follow a lot of like smart scientists. But the we there is like, I always say this when people bring that up, the we is like a very North American or Western we, because like there were cultures that were accommodating for like the airborne nature of the virus well before I wrote about it last March.
Right.
I think that like, I think the only reason I knew to even write about it in part was because I did see other cultures like taking heed a bit more.
And what do you think was our issue with that? Do you think that we just didn't want to acknowledge it as much of an airborne situation as it was because we were going to scare more? Like, what do you think was behind that lack of clarity?
I mean, Christian, that's a great question that no one has really ever asked me like that. And I think if I were just to answer off the cuff, like I think that you nod a bit to like the fear of fear, which is weird. It's like a doctor not telling you like what you're ill with. It's like, oh, I don't want to scare the patient. I won't tell them like I don't know. I always believe in being direct.
Yeah.
To a fault. And then I think the other thing is SARS, the OG SARS hit that region a little harder. And I think there was a cultural shift at that point that remained a bit and never really took off here. So they kind of tapped into some of that cultural memory. I'm sure if like, you know, God forbid, in 17 years from now, we have another coronavirus pandemic like that, people won't hesitate to like pull out their masks. I'm always like, don't burn your masks because you might need them again. You know?
Yeah,
Right.
Roxanne, that's such a good point. And I'll never forget early days a year ago when, we were still, it was like, are we going to get locked down? Are we not going to get locked down? Am I going to go on my spring break vacation? Am I not? I remember a friend of mine who's from China. He said, "Hey, Christian, I have like a bulk deal on masks. Do you want in?" And I'll never forget this. I was like, I'm good. I completely did not believe that it was going to have the kind of impact on the world that it did. So that was just a really big, that what you say, I think is all just really apt and resonates my experience. Yeah.
Well, I'm also like a natural germaphobe. Like I remember I used to work in New York and like do this on the elevator. Like, yeah, sure, I'll go to like floor like 9 or the elbow.
And just remembering how many people annoyed me where I worked because they were germaphobes, and now like, who's the person? Now I have a new understanding, right? I was always, oh my God, you know how many people would, what we've discussed this many times, but there were women that made sure I was there to open the door for them because I didn't want to open the door. Like this happened. There was one guy.
That's not
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, it's not okay.
I think that's something else too. That's called colonialism or something. Before we move on off of COVID, and granted, Roxanne, I mean, I think that you're being very generous by saying that you're not an expert, but you're someone well-versed on the topic. You've written a lot about it. You care deeply about it. And just from my own perspective, I think something I've learned this far, I mean, in some cases, I do have a little bit of COVID fatigue in terms of like talking about it a lot. And I kind of have resigned myself to the fact that, you know what, everybody is their own expert. Like everybody, I just feel like people get so passionate about, you have to do this and you have to do that. And I want my friends to stay safe. But when I get involved, when I hear somebody say something that doesn't really track with like what I've read and stuff, and all of a sudden we go down this rabbit hole and like, I'm not a doctor, and I'm just like, you know what, you do whatever you need to do. And I read in one of the articles that I think it was Slate, where you're talking to a couple different science writers, and you mentioned something around, or one of the others mentioned something around the fact that, early days we used to wash the vegetables that came in, and now we look back at that and we're like, ha ha ha. And I still have friends who wash vegetables. So I guess my question to you, long-winded, is do you, being someone who's so well versed and like has deep knowledge about this, like how do you deal with like people who don't? And like how, like, are you as fatigued, or is it just something that you're used to doing because you kind of, your audience is like lay people? Like, what do you think?
Thank you, Christian.
Yeah. Christian, I have some things to tell you. So I'm Persian, you might know, right? So we eat a lot of vegetables, and we still wash our vegetables. Like, you should wash your vegetables regardless of COVID or not. Soak the cilantro, soak the parsley. Like, washing vegetables is always a good idea. Going crazy with like, the Lysol on them, maybe not. But I just want to I don't want to talk down washing vegetables, because I was just writing about E. coli tonight, so like it's really good to wash your vegetables. But like the more earnest answer to your question in terms of like how, like I actually was thinking today how experientially like everyone's going through this thing differently. And I actually, if I'm going to be honest with you, I've become hopefully like less dogmatic in terms of like, oh, but I read a science paper says this. Like I was really worked up about like how different the vaccines really are a couple months ago. And now I feel, I just texting a friend today being like, I think I'm in Russian nihilist phase, because like everything kind of seems the same enough. And I mean, there are probably some differences that are important, but like, where do they fit into the whole grand scheme of things when there's other important things? It's like we're kind of getting myopic, but also missing the big picture. And I guess maybe as we're transitioning, we, the whole world gradually, like, I think like we kind of have to find that empathy to like listen to people. And I'm sure as soon as I say this, I'll get in a fight on Twitter. But like at this very moment, I can talk this big game of empathy. I think
I think that's so important, actually, what you just said, because it is true that we all keep going down this path and we forget where we were just a few weeks ago. And I was totally with you. Like a few weeks ago, I was like, I got I mean, I didn't say that because I don't say that, but like my sister got the Johnson and Johnson, and then I got the Moderna, and she said, "Oh, you got the better one." And then we both came together and said, "Any vaccine you get is a good one." And I'm just saying that you're so right in that empathy for each other at this moment in time where we're all on different pages and figuring it out together, is important because we need, especially like reflecting upon where we were only at a few weeks ago, days ago. I love that you said that. And if someone attacks you on Twitter for that, I'm coming for them. Just so you know.
Please.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, Roxanne, I love that you're leaning into empathy, and it's something I talk about a lot in the work that I do. And I guess the way that empathy is showing up for me in these conversations is if the people are not doing something that is like super dangerous, like not wearing their masks or, something like that, then I tend to just, let them be their experts and like listen and share what I'm doing and not try to debate them on, what latest article I just read and go down like that rabbit hole. So I appreciate that perspective. And I do rinse my vegetables, but I will be soaking my cilantro and parsley from now on.
Soak it. You hear that? Soak the cilantro. Well, Roxanne, I have a question in terms of being in Canada. I just like understanding what the experience is. The last show we had a comedian from India, and we talked about their experiences in this time there, especially with the pandemic. But for you, and they are having a very politically divided moment in history in India right now. In Canada, was it as politicized as it is here? Was there, I mean, both countries well. Like, was it a completely different thing? Were you guys on the same page for the most part? Like, was it a thing where people weren't fighting about masks and people weren't, fighting about being in movie theaters and shopping and wanting to be together? Were people like agreeing to, I just think leadership matters. So I wonder if you can attest to that.
Do you want my like honest answer?
Yeah, I want the honest answer. Because if it was the same, I want to know too.
I mean, okay, can I ask? I'll answer it in a question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I guess one of the things that's kind of was always scary to me, even in New York, but like, just being in America is like, it's kind of like scarier to disagree with somebody because you never know like what kind of heat they're packing. Like, if somebody's being really confrontational and like, I mean, I've just traveled around the US and like been in situations where somebody's done something egregious and like, sometimes I just feel a very far apart away from them, and it's hard to like speak up and be like, please do this thing. I think that here I've been a little less like scared to like, to speak up when somebody's doing something like not wearing a mask in a space where they should be, because I mean, I was using maybe an exaggeration in what I was saying, but like I do feel simultaneously there's a little bit more of a culture of like, okay, we'll follow the rules, and also like less of a threat that like your life is going to be in immediate danger if you get in a fight with somebody. But I could be I could be wrong about all this because I'm very new and I've only had one like normal existence before the pandemic.
Well, I mean, I just read, I mean, there is reason. You literally said heat. We live in a country where I just saw this statistic yesterday and it stuck with me. 4.4% of the population of the world, and we have 42% of the guns in the world in this country. So you like literally we have more heat.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
I misspoke about that.
No, but
we talked about guns. I've been thinking about guns. There was a shooting, or like a week ago, like 2 blocks from my house. So I don't want to be like, there's violence here, but
Right. Now, before we let you go, Roxanne, because we could talk to you for the entire episode, I would like to know what do you want to write about beyond the pandemic? Do you have any exciting new things that you want to investigate? Do you want to look into that's not attached to a public health crisis or a different public health crisis?
Yeah, I mean, I probably won't get too specific about it because, like, you know, I'll be working on a story, but I've always written about viruses. Like, I was writing about viruses a long time ago. I remember I was writing about the HPV vaccine, and I got like the most. I remember I was like in my mid-20s, and I got pulled into like this meeting being like, your article got like, you know, it was about oral sex and like HPV, and I was just like mortified because I had to talk about oral sex in front of my I mean, it's a real risk, right? Like, not to
Yeah.
in the context of the vaccine and how the vaccine is preventative. So I've been writing about viruses a lot, and I imagine I will continue to write about viruses. I cannot wait until it doesn't carry the weight of loss the way that this moment we're living in right now does. Which is not to say that like other viruses don't have extremely difficult stories attached to them. I mean, I don't know if it's like getting older or something, but like I cry sometimes after I talk to scientists and patients for stories about pathogens they're working on.
Right.
Yeah.
But
no,
you know, I hope, you know what, actually, Christian, I just do want to add to that like, I can't wait to write about more cures, because like I feel like we're stuck in like this like moment of like, you know, hope. But like a science writer's job often involves just like more of a potpourri of like good news. So I'm looking forward to that.
Totally. And speaking of good news, I know that you were obsessed with chocolate chip pancakes. Yeah. Anything? What's the latest culinary treat that you're really leaning into these days?
I know you want that to be a light question. I was diagnosed with H. pylori a couple months ago, so like I've been pretty restricted. It's a bacteria that like affects your gut. So I've actually been on a super restrictive diet. But I made some great tuna fish today, so.
Hey,
tuna fish is
Roxanne, good. I'm gonna make some in your honor later this week.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I miss you guys so much.
We miss you.
I miss you too, Roxanne. Thank you for being on our show. This was awesome.
So wonderful for you to be here and keep doing your good work. Everyone loves what you're doing, and we love you personally too. So thank you so much for being with us.
Love's coming right back at you.
Yes.
I'll see you guys at the spa, okay?
Yes. We're coming to the Montreal spa. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Roxanne Khamsi. Oh my gosh. That was so nice to just see her face.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool.
And the last time I saw her face was when we did a live show in this home for a Christmas show with Shalewa and Sharon and one more artist. Anyway, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And she was giggling at our show.
Yeah.
And now she's like making change in the world happen via being a science journalist. Thank you, Roxanne, for being here.
You. All the way from Montreal. Love it.
All the way from Montreal. And then our next guest is also coming to us from another place, but instead of another country, it's another state. It's the state of California. Cali. And, you know, I'm envious because I know the weather is nice. We did have semi-nice. It's still cold. You know, we're supposed to have snow tomorrow, maybe. I don't know if you've heard of this.
I did.
But our next guest is this incredible comedian and writer. Let me just tell you, before she left New York, she was on stage. I think it was on Katina's show. Anyway, I saw her and I was like, who is this woman? How are we not friends? So I'm making her my friend. And we're having her here with us tonight. Her name is Rae Sanni. And let's hear it for Rae. Woo! Y'all, we're so happy you're here, Rae. Oh yeah, there's.
Hey.
Good to
you're on
see
mute.
you.
There we go.
Oh yeah,
can you hear me?
We can hear you just fine, all the way from California.
Oh, you look good.
Oh, thank you so much. How you guys?
Hi.
We missed you in New York. I will say that. I know that's true.
I miss New York so bad, but very soon, very soon. So I'm
Have
excited.
have you not been back since this whole situation?
No, I have not. I've not been back since December 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you still have a good amount of family here or friends or a combination
Yeah,
of the
my
two?
parents are there. All of my friends from childhood, all of my grown-up friends, because New York is a city people move to.
Right.
Like literally everything is there.
Oh my God. And so now you have a car and a house probably in LA, right?
No, so I insisted upon not learning how to drive. I wanted to be still a New Yorker and precious. And and I grew up poor. I did not do anything good with my money. Of course, I didn't buy a house yet. I'm still working through the like beginner kind of materialism. So
Beginner, like, I
Right.
got money, honey.
Let me just
so
tell
now
you.
I'm like doing DoorDash every night. That's why
Right.
I'm working.
You
through
graduated
that.
to DoorDash.
Yeah. So like once I get back to a budget, maybe I can save for a house. But right now,
Right. All my friends there with houses and I'm sure some of them are watching right now. Do you know how boring they got when they got a house? They
exactly.
they
Always talking about plumbing
I'm like,
and shit. Get out of here.
I'm like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Can we do something fun? I do not want to hear about you fixing a garage and like the
Exactly.
yard and no.
Because
And that's
if you have a house, you have to like put things in the house and then
yeah.
you have to fill the house with people. And I am not ready for those
No.
responsibilities yet. You know.
And as someone that did not grow up in New York, those are the things I love about New York. I don't need a bunch of stuff.
No, there's no place to put it. There's no place to put your stuff.
Recently, I just helped my friend put a bunch of stuff back in their storage unit, and it's a couple, Ryan and JJ, and we go to the storage unit, and it looks like a garage. It's like the size of a garage. I go, how much are you paying for this? He goes, $300 a month.
Yeah, I was doing that. Because for some stupid reason, I thought that I was only going to be in Los Angeles for like 6 months.
Okay.
So I put all of my shit in New York, like in a storage unit, and I was paying like $250 a month up until the pandemic. And then during the pandemic, I was like, fuck it, you guys, just like, I'm not paying this bill anymore. You can sell my stuff. So it's clearly I didn't need. So what was I doing? What was I doing?
know. That's the American spirit. We all have it. It's
Just
everywhere.
hoarding? Just hoarding.
Just holding on. I mean, I think
I don't get it. We all do it.
I think we connect a lot of, I know I do. I have trouble throwing shit away, and I have done a lot of that in the pandemic. And I think part of it is I just attach a lot of my identity to stuff. And like all of a sudden, when I didn't have it a lot or have it around, it's like, get rid of it. You know, you just got rid of a bunch of your CDs, Shonali.
Woo! Yes.
How do you feel?
I'm feeling good. And you know, I donated. I made some money off a few, but yesterday I got rid of the last box.
Wait, is that what people are doing now? That's the thing, we're CD collectors now.
There are still
money for it.
Yeah, I'll tell you all about it. Online, you scan your CDs, you find out how much they're worth, you mail them in, they pay for the postage. Woo! Because honestly,
does it matter where you got it? So, like, for example, like I remember my first CD being like a Will Smith compilation when I was like, I don't know, 10 or 11, right? But my parents got it from Costco and not from like, you know, Tower Records or something, right? So like, if I tried to sell a Costco Will Smith compilation, how successful or how rich?
I would try to just kind of use some whiteout and white out Costco and try to.
I want that Costco Will Smith compilation. I'll pay you for that.
Okay, it's gonna go to the highest bidder, Shonali. I don't think she has money like that though. Right? I don't know.
It's easily gonna cost you $10,000. I mean, get ready.
So LA's working out for you. You've stayed longer than the 6 months you thought. And
you are doing so well, and it's awesome because You were so funny. I told Ray, I was like, it was a while ago because when you left, it's like I saw you on stage and then you left. That was sort of how I got acquainted with you, and then I just, we see each other on Twitter without knowing each other, but there are voices where you just connect, and Ray's voice is one that I connect with,
Oh,
and
wow. That's very kind.
it's true. And I've wanted to ask you to be on the show for a long time, and then finally I was like, I'm just doing it. I'm doing it. And Ray, you've been you're writing on all these shows. You were were you working on the President show here and then you left?
Yeah, so I was writing on the President show, and then I moved here to write on The Good Place. And then I was writing on Rel, and then Black Lady Sketch Show, and then some like small like award show kind of short room kind of gigs throughout. So it's been fun.
And when you had to move, the initial reason for moving is that they needed you in the writer's room. Is that you needed to just be with your?
Did they need me? Was I needed?
Well, no, I'm just saying. I'm saying because now I'm assuming that you're writing remotely, right? Like, going? So that's my question. I'm like,
oh, I thought. Well, I was gonna take the opportunity to bask in how useless I was on that Good Place staff.
I read that. You know what? The Good Place. Okay, I'll admit I have not seen it. My sister loves it. My nieces love it. They tell me all about it.
No, it's brilliant.
I know you're
stupid. I felt
you're
stupid
supposed to watch it. And then I read that Ray was working on it, and Ray was like, "What are these rules? What is this?"
Yeah. One of the concepts, like one of the major concepts of the show, like time travel and stuff. They just like made up a word because I like stopped the room for an afternoon because I didn't understand how the time was gonna work.
So they made it up.
So somebody was just like Jeremy. That's it. Jeremy.
See, I think you were needed. I think that voice needed. We know how these comedians are. They get in their own head. They're in their own little lane, and you have to tap in once in a while and be like, no, we do not get this. So
Ray, do you have a preference from like working do you miss the writer's room? Do you miss like kind of having like the quick access to like folks and being able to like just like, talk it up? Or are you like more stoked on like working kind of in your own lane and like sharing in your little Zoom cocoon? Like what do you have a preference?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. Like on the one hand, I really do super miss being around people, and there is something more magical about making people laugh in person, and being funny and laughing is more contagious when you're actually in the same room with people. And so the experience of like working in a writer's room is not terrible via Zoom, but it's not as special, I don't think. I mean, even this, feels less personal than it would if we were on stage together. And so you have that, and your timing is off. And so you start to wonder if a joke is actually funny or if your colleagues have just left themselves on mute or something like that. And so it gets uncomfortable a little bit. But it's great because I'm somebody who's always late. And it makes it really easy to be on time when
that is a plus. I like that one. I need to add that. That's right.
It's so easy to not be late if the meeting is in your house.
Right. I think that is something significant that I have not thought about, but that is real. You don't have to worry about anything. Just put it on and get on. And
have you tried to do have you done any stand-up gigs? Have you done any kind of?
I did one show and I'm like, fuck this forever. No. Because because it was for a fundraiser, right? So my mistake was trying to do new material for a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And then trying to do new material that I had not tested in front of a crowd or on Zoom.
So
because
but
it
you
was
would
like
think that a fundraiser, because it's bringing people together for a good cause, you would think that people are generous, that they're philanthropists, that they are the next
yeah,
thing.
but if you bomb in my living room, I can change the channel or disengage very
That's
quickly.
true. That's great.
And so they were not having me bomb in their living room. They had your girl on mute. And
How
I
did you
didn't mute myself when I should have. It was what didn't happen. So
how did
no,
you
after
get
that one gig, I was like, no more straight stand-up shows on Zoom.
I'm with you. I don't think that it's just not
Yeah, it's not for me.
conducive. It's not conducive. Like
I
even
mean, there are some people who are crushing it, and God bless them,
yes.
but it's just not me.
Yes.
Not for me.
And I've gone to a few, some that do it all the time, and their
Mhm.
whole thing is working crowd work and talking to people, and I mean,
That stresses
but
me out. Like it's like, was it like Hollywood Squares? That's what my crowd work is gonna be like.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
weird.
you in the bottom right
Yeah,
corner.
that is so bizarre. That is so bizarre. That is so
but
bizarre.
that's the thing in that setting. That's what people want attention. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So if you just said somebody's name, they'd be excited. You know and that's the sort of setting that people just please give me some human.
Which is so insane to me, because part of why I hate Zoom so much is that I'm somebody who doesn't like to be looked at, which is a bizarre thing to choose when you are a performer.
Wow.
But like outside of stand-up, please never look at me. I do not want to be looked at. And so like the fact that like Zoom makes you so conscious of the fact that you are being eyed. It's like, I cannot believe that there would be people volunteering themselves to be like picked out on Zoom, because I already feel too
That
seen.
is so interesting to me, that the crowd fright, or just like that feeling is more pronounced for you, as opposed to being in a live setting in front of like hundreds of people that are like right there.
When you can pretend that stand-up is just a conversation, right? Like I've never been like I hate my face is the thing. And like when if you're alive and you're being with people, you don't like, no one who thinks they're ugly thinks they're ugly all the time. But somebody who thinks they're ugly hates their face even more on video. And I am like very conscious of the fact that there is a video. I see myself talking. I'm not like being myself in a group. So even though like on stage I am on display and presenting in front of people, there's hopefully a dynamic that feels just like being in conversation with most of the control, as opposed to being shown to people on camera.
Wow.
I can understand that.
I'm presenting to you a little bit.
I mean, one is, and I know you weren't fishing for compliments, but I think you're beautiful. You don't need to respond to that. But I was going to ask you, how did you get to comedy? Like, what was happening in your life before comedy?
So do not get uncomfortable, because I'm over it. Okay.
I'm good. I'm good. I saw one of your sets, but I didn't know how it like all connected. So
I got sexually assaulted twice in college. And the first time I kind of just like put it under the rug or whatever. I didn't really think about it. And then the second time, I had told somebody that it happened the night before, and then I got sexually assaulted again, like the next night or something like that. So it like broke my brain, like completely fucked me up. Like I lost it. And then I got dumped by my boyfriend maybe like 2 days after that. And then and it was just like all kind of like I just lost my mind basically. And so I was still on campus, and my therapist on campus was just like, you need to find something that you like to do that is like yours, because I wasn't going to class. I lost most of my friends, because like when you're 20, you don't know what to do with somebody else's depression, and I wasn't telling everybody I had gotten sexually assaulted, you know what I mean? So But anyway, so I was in school in New Jersey, and I just started to take a stand-up comedy class. So like I went once a week to Manhattan to some like comedy writing class or whatever. And then I would do open mics a little bit. So that would be like 2008 into 2009. And then I went back to school for the next semester. And then I dropped out for good and took up stand-up for real in 2009.
And
Wow.
how was so thank you for sharing. And
Yeah, thank you for
clearly
sharing that.
you've overcome that adversity and
Oh, please, I really don't care.
Okay.
I'm over it.
You're amazing.
so,
You
like-
don't
You're
have
amazing.
to be like respectful about it. I'm
Okay.
totally fine.
Okay.
We can just talk about
no,
it.
but it's
You're
but no,
amazing.
but honestly, so that I can respect that where you're at, but I'm not over it. Like I think it's cool that you were able to survive and thrive the way that you have. My question to you is, when you made those decisions, were your parents, did they know like the whole picture? Were they supportive of the decisions are they supportive of your comedy career now? Like,
Well, yeah, like I can pay for my life now, so they're supportive. And like, it's weird because I'm like astonishingly independent, but also like this perm adolescent. I think New York makes you that way, where like if you're grown from since you're 13, you just never have to grow up again, right?
oh wow,
So
that's
like
interesting.
I feel like I had been making choices about my education the whole time for the most part. I think maybe from like I was like 11. I was in a program called Prep for Prep, and what they do is they help students of color in low-income neighborhoods in New York, like go through this program and then eventually get placed in like, fancy New York private schools or whatever. And even to stay in that program, when the homework got too hard for me, my parents were like, do you want to quit? And I'm like, no, I can finish. And so like, I've been, in making my own education decisions. I mean, they weren't like happy, right? But what are they going to do? If your kid doesn't want to be in school, they are not going to be in school.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
not like I needed them to pay for school. Like I got a really good grant. And like, they're not like, who's gonna, well, somebody might, but my parents didn't do the whole like, oh, you got raped, let's dump you thing.
Right. Right. Oh, wow. That, there are many stories about how comedy saves people, but man, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. No, it's weird because I don't feel saved, right? But like,
Right.
I get, but maybe the reluctance to use that term is because it feels so cliche. I watch so much reality television, and that's like what all the chefs on Top Chef say. They're like, cooking saved me. And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, right.
So wait,
Yeah.
so Rae, what do you like about reality TV?
I'm obsessed.
What is it about it?
I don't know. Like, so I'm very, very fascinated by people's like psychologies.
Okay.
And there's nothing in my life that would make it so that I would encounter most kinds of people on reality television. So it's very just nice and fascinating and interesting to meet people I would never otherwise meet. Like,
okay, now is there a show? So I got into it. So I've always been a little like, ooh, like, oh my God, I could never. But then there are times when I'll like get into my little, this or that. And my question to you, so because of the pandemic, I got into this show called Alone that is in.
That sounds absurd.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, what is
It's someone going into the forest by
it's like
themselves?
Naked and Afraid, but they're not naked. They are afraid. It's
I
like
love
an
Naked
iteration
and
on that.
Afraid.
So that's so interesting because that's precisely the kind of reality television I hate. Like,
Great. So my question to you is, so you hate that. Now, do you like, is there a bridge too far? Like, are you a fan of Bad Girls, for instance? Or like,
of course. the best formula for reality TV. The real world figured it out 30-something years ago. You put a bunch of people who would never hang out with each other in a house and they can't go very far, and you're gonna have amazing, amazing television.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe I don't like things like Naked and Afraid and even Survivor, although I've come around on Survivor because I love Big Brother and I can see Big Brother in Survivor. But like for a show like Alone, like you're talking about, I don't really want to see human beings in extreme situations because they don't need to be in physically extreme situations to be in extreme emotional states. And so I don't need the distraction of them maybe almost getting frostbite because it's perfectly okay for them to just be melting down in the bed next to their roommate.
That's fair. Yeah, that's totally fair. That's totally fair.
I do it all. I do them all.
Opposite. I need to see like some kind of survival element or something.
Right.
And
I do it all.
I put myself in their shoes too. Like I wouldn't last like 12 hours alone.
Maybe that's also why I hate things like that, because I'm like instantly reminded how useless a human being I am. I barely know how to make rice. You know what I mean? Like, so if I were on Survivor, we would starve, and I am anemic and I have no upper body strength. So I'm not good at making fires or building tents. Like I would be so dead so quickly. So maybe that's why I don't want to.
So do you have I know that you tweet a lot about Real Housewives of New York, or do you watch all of them?
I watch all of them, girl.
All of them. I switch around. I don't know why. I always switch around. And so I have not watched New York in a long time. I see it through her tweets. That's exactly how I see it.
Now, are you a big fan of The Bachelor? Because Shonali, she could do a whole nother show.
Oh, God.
No.
Did you at least watch the After the Rose?
I saw the After the Final Rose.
Final Rose.
And then so I dipped in on the Bachelorette thing 3 times. I dipped in, I think, so one of my college classmates who was like a major dickhead went on it a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, I want to see if he's gonna be a dickhead on the show. And he was totally a dickhead on the show. He like got in trouble for slut shaming her. I can't remember.
That guy, like the guy last. It's the last one. The guy who was.
It was like before that.
Okay.
And then I dipped in to see a little bit of Rachel's season because she was Black. And then I went over to my friend's house this summer. Like I was in their backyard to watch one thing, and one of my friends tricked me into like 5 episodes of The Bachelorette this past season, and I was loathing it the whole time I was watching it. And then what's her name?
Tayshia.
And then there was like an awkward Black Lives Matter conversation. I was like, I'm not fucking doing this. And then and then my friend was like, no, but there's like a Black dude Bachelorette coming. And I saw the pictures. I was like, he is fine as hell. But then I watched like the first 5 minutes of the first episode. And I was like, nah, you can keep this nigga too. I don't want nothing.
But that's the thing, is he only became real because I was like, and he's being boring on top of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the very final one was when it's pretty much when he broke up with her, where he's finally a real human.
Because the thing was, for me, I just couldn't believe that. I know that the Bachelor process happens in a very short amount of time. I know it's maybe only like 3 weeks, but this bitch went to a plantation like 2 years ago. You couldn't smell it on her. Like,
I know. That's what I wanted.
That smells like plantation.
I'm like, what kind of Black man are you that you would fall in love with a shorty who feels comfortable being on a plantation? Like, what happened to your radar? On the one hand, right, I felt that very strongly. But then on the other hand, like, I don't date white dudes anymore because somebody's undercover, I guess, prejudice snuck up on me. So I don't know.
Well, that's
grateful it didn't happen on national television. You know?
that's exactly right. Like that's the conversation right there because I was seeing somebody not only mad, I just was like, he is mad at himself. This moment,
He's so embarrassed.
he is so embarrassed. He
Yeah.
knows how bad it is. He
And
was
he
swooped.
probably only dumped her because like everybody knew. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
you think it was peer pressure? You think it was?
Yeah, because like
And his brother. Did you see his brother?
his brother is a hood motherfucker with these like rap like songs, like
His
and the
brother
songs
was
are like good. Like the songs are good.
yes.
So
I gotta
you
listen to
would
this
date
song
the
because I
brother.
loved it.
You want the brother to be the bachelor.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that brother.
I don't want anyone to be the bachelor, to be honest.
No.
I have like I hate, survivalist themed competition reality shows, but I hate more than that, I think bad romance as a premise for reality. Like I don't want to watch people fall in love because I have my own hangups about, Black women and desirability and how that's presented on television. Sure. But then separately, it's like I don't need the premise of a show to be the worst kind of heartbreak you can find. And it's like, watching a man get to play with 10, 15, 20 women at a time is not a pain that is like fun to enjoy. Like it's not self-inflicted. It hits too close to home. It like plays into sexist tropes we already have in society. It's like it doesn't feel like it's subverting anything. So I agree, but
Shonali, so
I like that.
Agreeing with all that, Shonali, but you
and I also feel but that's what I've always talked to you about. I've always felt, and it's a part of everything in our country and our culture, is that so much of what we see and we're in, like for me, I was always like, I'm being complicit with a racist show. Like I am, and that, that's how I felt. Like
that. There's too much racism and everything to find one thing that's like accidentally racist while trying to be something else.
No, Rae, they even had a lawsuit like 10 years ago saying, why won't you allow them to have a Black bachelor?
Why did somebody sue our way into that bullshit? Why would
that's
you do that? Why would you fight for the right to be?
There were some men that wanted to be the bachelor, and it was obvious that they weren't.
Now Matt can't be with his Confederate queen.
So now clearly, I'm so happy that we talked about this because clearly, Rae, you have a more complicated viewpoint and opinion about the reality TV landscape, but overall you're kind of on the ride or die side of it. You think it's a good thing, you like it, it's pure. Okay, so aside from binge watching reality TV, is there anything else that you're doing to preserve your mental health in these pandemic days other than DoorDash? What else is going on? You got a puppy? You got a pandemic puppy running around?
No, I almost fostered
got a kitty cat?
I almost fostered a kitten, but then I was like, no, because then I would like have to do all these things to make an apartment not meant for a kitten, safe for a kitten. And I want to go back home to New York as soon as possible. And so what I don't want to do is accidentally lay roots. Now I've child-proofed this house. I guess I got to have a child in it,
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Man, as two people who do not have pets or children, this is exactly the way I think at all times. Is like, I want to be able to go when I want to go.
Right, exactly. I want to do what I want to do. I want to not have to, like, if I feel like not taking out trash, I don't want to have to worry about kitty litter and an animal that would suffer if I'm feeling lazy, kind of thing.
I hear you. So no pandemic pets for you. No. I hope you get back. I hope you get vaccinated. I hope you get back to New York.
Yeah, I just got vaccinated today. First actually just came back from it right before I joined this Zoom.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for making time.
So now we got two people on the show vaccinated here. You see, Christian, you join us.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to get him
I don't mean to
vaccinated.
feel like an outsider. I'm trying to get one. They just
I
opened it
know.
up
It's
for
so
me.
hard. It's so hard.
It's
I was
hard.
like,
That's why I
do
got
all
you
of
an
my
appointment.
friends
It's
have
hard.
diabetes? Do all my friends have asthma? Like what? How did this happen? How are you all? Like, how is everybody vaccinated already?
You got asthma? Where's your inhaler? Where's your inhaler? I've never
you
seen
know?
it.
So it was crazy.
Well, Ray, when you come here, well, we'll see you either there or here, but I would love it when this world gets back to some semblance
I know. I can't
of
wait. I
norm.
have a plane ticket, but I have lied to myself inadvertently about dates for a year now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it, but I have a plane
Yeah.
ticket that is refundable, so it'll be okay.
Oh, well, I can't wait to see you back in real life on stage, seeing you
Yeah, oh my
perform,
God,
and
the stage.
the world can see you too, everyone. And if you can't, you should follow Ray too.
No, you might get really
RAESANN.
annoyed. You might get really annoyed.
But see, I
Because
don't.
In a
I've been
good
having
way.
a field day about one of the Real Housewives getting arrested this afternoon. Like, I am having the time of
Wait,
my
who
life.
was it? Who was it? Who
So
got
there's
arrested?
a new franchise in Salt Lake City, and so there's like two white women who look exactly the same. Then there's there's a pair of cousins who are both blondes. So the brunettes look exactly the same. The blondes are cousins. Then there's a black woman who I think is committing fraud through her church, and she's married to her step grandfather.
Are they all Mormons? Are any of them Mormons?
Yes, for the most part, they're mostly Mormon. And then, but I think two of them have gotten excommunicated from the church for either divorce and adultery or something like that. And then, so the person who got arrested today is this Polynesian woman who's married to a black football coach. And her husband is a college football coach, and he's not the head coach. So it's like, how the fuck do they have all this money? And she was like the worst person on the cat. Like, she was the worst. Like, she was just like a horrendous human being, like the worst human being, right? And so she'd like spent the last half of the season just terrorizing her castmates, and she's not even black. She's just married to a black man, but she kind of like tried to turn everybody being rightly angry at her into a racial thing when there's like a whole black woman on the cast that nobody was mad at. And so today she got arrested for committing fraud, and it just so happened that this woman is wearing braids like mine. And I was like, she got arrested dressing up like a black woman. This is amazing. This is amazing.
I can't believe
that's
people
what
go on
my
shows
Twitter
like that
is like today.
committing
So maybe
fraud.
don't
I
follow
cannot
it today.
believe people go on shows like that committing fraud.
Why? But the thing is, like, it's just also really funny because this woman had like clearly watched every single episode of every franchise of Real Housewives, and like was like very calculatedly going to be the housewife we all talked about. And so she would do these like really obnoxious things, but they were also like retreads. So there was nothing charming or fun about it. And so like today, for her to like already fall into like Teresa Giudice like scam territory by season 2 is kind of crazy.
Thank you for that quick recap. That was amazing.
I love it.
And why would you? And so they said that she had been doing this scam since 2012. And I'm like, I would never, ever. You already have been getting away with it for too long. If you get away with a federal crime for 5 years, count your blessings, get out the game, sis. Why are you on
Get
TV?
out the country.
Why are you on TV?
Exactly. Get out the game.
And she was so ostentatious. I mean, you are renting ski chalets to throw parties. Bitch, your husband is an assistant coach at the University of Utah. You can't do this.
Ray, okay.
Woo! I'm so happy I asked, because now I have to go do a deep
No,
dive.
you have to go read it. I'm so sorry, but yeah, I just meant to say
I
that.
have to.
Don't follow me on Twitter if that's not what you want to business to be. So
I'm gonna watch. And I'm gonna be in touch because I have to
they arrested her. Like, oh my God, I just have to tell you this one thing. If there's ever a time you ever, Christian, want to invest in reality TV, it's this next season coming up, because they arrested her the morning that she was supposed to go on a cast trip. So like apparently all the girls were together. They're getting ready to go to Vail, Colorado. And she gets a call from her husband and she's like, it's a family emergency. And she runs away.
Okay, Rae, I just might have to.
Okay.
Click.
We got to do it. Yeah. And then we'll all get back together and talk about that because we have to.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Rae, you're a delight. It was so much fun to talk with you.
Yes, thank you. Happy vaccination day.
Thank you. Good luck, Christian, getting shot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What you mean? What kind of shot? No, I'm just joking. I know.
Moderna.
Oh, thank you.
Bye,
guys.
All right, bye, Rae. Have a good day. Oh man.
Oh,
Fun.
fun. Oh my gosh.
Roxanne and Rae. It was a show of the R, strong R women. Speaking of women, Shonali, happy
women
International Women's History Month.
Thank you. And that's so wonderful that we just celebrated two fantastic, amazing women.
We did.
And we really could talk to both of them for hours and hours and hours. Woo, and I can go down that reality TV path really hard.
I know. You are like
in fact, one of my friends is trying to get me to do the Southern Charm one because, I'm from the South and I know those people.
Right.
Charleston is a place that's been. We could do that right now, Christian, if you want to give.
We good.
Woo! But anyway, that was so fun.
History Month.
Everyone, in honor of Women's History Month, watch the Tina Turner documentary on HBO. It was so beautiful, emotional. What a woman! What an incredible spirit, and her allowing us to celebrate her before she informally bows out of public life. Just amazing.
I
wow.
watched it too, Shonali, and I woke up the next day singing, "We don't need another hero." I was like, we don't need another hero because we have Tina. She is a hero. She's a shero. And that documentary is so well made. And to be a person who's overcome all the drama and all the adversity that she did and be in a place where it's still being thrust in her face and she's always having to talk about it, and how she's managed to find her grace and how she's just managed to find happiness and how she's just been, how she was able to be who she was, the age that she was just amazing.
She was working like that entire time through that incredible hardship, incredible abuse, and then surviving to raise her kids, and then saying, I want to play in front of 100,000 people in a stadium. I want to be a rock singer, and she did it.
Yeah. Just
wow.
Really inspiring. Yeah.
So inspiring. And she did. She always answered grace every time, even she had those questions.
Yeah, that smile.
That smile. Beautiful smile. Beautiful woman.
Practicing Buddhist.
That's right.
We could talk about her forever too. But it's time is up.
All right. Well, next month, everybody, we have some awesome guests coming up, and we want to thank our guests this month once more, Roxanne Khamsi and Rae Sanni. And Justin, you want to come back in here so we can say bye to everybody? Thank you, Justin Joseph Hall, who is also someone we like to celebrate. He's always got our backs. We got his back. We got his baby's back. We got some baby's back coming up.
All right, let's not speak too soon on that one, okay? Depends on what has happened on the baby's back. All right, good to see you, Justin. Good to see everybody. And
Thank you, guys.
We'll see each other next time.
Yeah. Good night. Bye.